What's up, you ready, Grand? How are you? Only Dan's is in the house. How you doing? Breezy breeze. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Simulation Talk 95. Joey Lama. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm not late to the party today, GH. No, you're not. I'm late to the party today. It's a pretty late stream. Continuing with the theme of going up pretty late. Trippy McBeepy. What's up? Lindy Lair. Minute after Alex. What's up, everybody? Wait a couple more minutes for everybody to show up. 7 a.m. Where are you? At 7 a.m. Well, I guess if you are 5 hours ahead, so somewhere in Europe. Let's go, Chavez. How you doing, man? Welcome everybody on YouTube and TikTok and Twitch and X. We'll wait a couple more minutes. I see the TikTok takes a little while to notify people, so we'll wait for that. Oh, London. Love London. Yeah, over here on the East Coast, it's 2:30 a.m. What I think of Cloud Atlas? You're talking about the movie, the book? What are we talking about? I haven't read it. I watched the movie. As many, I found it a little confusing, but I love the thematic thing. I mean, it was gorgeous for sure. Why do you ask specifically about Cloud Atlas? Interesting. What you talking about? Beat. Hello everyone. 7 a.m. for me too. UK. 7:30. Yeah. So 2:30, and I have a flight to catch in 2 hours, in 3 hours. So it's gonna be great. I just need to set up my laser. I've got the Spirit. Nice. You can always find all the specs on codeofreality.com. You don't have to buy through these links. You can buy it anywhere. Just make sure that the specs are the same, and then you can source it any way you want. And never, never, ever above 5 milliwatts, because you can actually do cornea damage with that. Read the book and loved the movie. Yeah, the movie, I mean, it was visually stunning. What's up, Michelle? Good to see you. Sick. I just say you, I guess, saw your videos, and now I see you live. Welcome, welcome, not. Hey, yo, Vladimir, how are you? It's really funny because on TikTok, it's a different kind of game. Like, you have to grab people's attention quickly, which is hilarious because the original trailer obviously has a lot more information and a lot more nuance and flow, and that's why it was so impactful for people. But then we decided that we need also like a TikTok version for it, and obviously the point of TikTok is to draw more attention to it. So I cut it down to what I believed TikTok will respond most favorably to as far as attention, and it worked. But because I omitted a lot of the information of the background, and I guess because I kind of land with this, statement about the spirit molecule like out of nowhere. From what at least from what I usually don't look at the comments too much, but like, obviously because it's going viral, I saw that most of the comments are kind of like, like, oh my god, this guy's insane. You telling me all I gotta do is this crazy psychedelic substance, which I totally get. I understand, but it is what it is, right? It's really funny because TikTok requires that. It's like quick and to the point, but also I want all the information fast. And it's like, well, can't have both. So anybody who thinks it's crazy, they're just gonna have to dig a little deeper and do some work and go and look through my YouTube channel, then go thoughts, or look at some other interviews of mine. But yeah, it's just really funny how people react. It's hilarious. Um, I'm well, man. Just saw your videos today. Gotta say, I'm a huge fan. Well, thank you so much, Vladimir. I appreciate you, brother. By the way, are you from Russia, Vladimir? Just out of curiosity, or Ukraine? I know it's a very sensitive difference. Um, Slow burn is better. I love to learn new things and ponder new things. Awesome, Fonzo. Absolutely, brother. speaking my language. Mark Thompson is saying, "Hi Dan, what's the easiest way to diffract a laser pointer?" You don't worry about that. Just get something from Amazon that does that. Go to codeofreality.com. Just look at the specs. You don't have to get it from there. Just to be clear, you get it anywhere you want. Just make sure that the specs are the same. Amazon sells the lasers already with the lens built in. And what's up, Concrete Mate? And Concert Mate. Sorry, not Concrete Mate. And the diffraction pattern has to match the wavelength. So don't try and reinvent the wheel. Just get something from Amazon the way they already do it. But codeofreality.com should give you all the information you need. And then, because of a lot of requests, people, there you go, that's the website. Because of a lot of the requests, people asked us to make these lasers, so we started doing that, so we have that option there. But by no means anybody is obligated to get it from there. It is a lot more expensive because for us it's not really that economically viable to make them. Some people insist, and that's fine, but that's why we have a list of all the stuff that you need. You can just purchase it yourself or even source it from somewhere else. It's all good. Just make sure that you have the right specs. Never above 5 milliwatts. It has to be diffracted. Honestly, it doesn't even have to be 650 nanometers red. It can be other frequencies. However, the red is the easiest on the eyes because it's a lower frequency. It's a lower frequency. So, but you can just find all the information, including the protocol, on codeofreality.com. So that's great. I'll get on that today. Absolutely, Mark. And any questions, that's what I'm here for. Chavez is saying, me and my girlfriend are going to be building it together. Very excited. Yes, I love these joint projects. That's amazing. Also, if you guys want to make a short video about it, even if you want your faces blurred or whatever, we always love this kind of content of people engaging and stuff. So if you're willing, please send it to us. We might even incorporate it in some of the stuff with the film, and your identity doesn't have to be there. Like we can totally, wipe your identity clean if you don't want to be seen. Okay, so let me do a quick introduction because there might be some new people here today. This is Simulation Talk 95. This channel usually revolves around the simulation hypothesis. My name is Danny, and I'm claiming to have found actual proof that we live in a simulation. A few years ago, I became vocal about a particular experiment in which you project a diffracted laser on the surface, and if you ingest a particular molecule that I cannot really name on the live chat because of legal purposes, you will see code running in surfaces. This has now been replicated over 1,000 times worldwide and going, and it connected me with some of the leading researchers in the field. It does not mean that all of them agree with me and my conclusions. However, it's an ongoing and a very important conversation that we're having. That being said, we meet here every single day to discuss the implications, the discovery, the experiment, as well as science in general, religion, spirituality, philosophy, God, whatever comes to mind. All of that being said, if you want to check out longer videos of mine about these topics and other topics, you can check out from what you see on TikTok. My YouTube channel is Dango Thoughts, DANGO Thoughts, and the videos there are longer with more context and all of that good stuff. So feel free to check it out. Just a quick note, all my platforms: TikTok is Danny Goller, X is Goller Danny, Instagram also Danny Goller, Twitch is LaserX83, and YouTube is Dango Thoughts. Okay, I think that's enough promotional stuff. Let's dive into some questions, because today probably I'm not going to be able to stay that long because I have a flight to catch. Let's see. Thank you, thank you, Grandma. Appreciate you, man. Felt like something was with me, and we were all connected. Well, that's mutual. Aaron, how are you doing, my brother? Always great to see you with us here. Makes me feel at home. Favorite Family Guy character? That's a tough one, man. I mean, it depends on the mood, I think. Stewie, maybe? I don't know. Stewie is hilarious. I mean, Brian is hilarious, too, because of the way the things happen to him. Yeah, I have to say that I don't know. Might actually be Peter, to be honest. We'll see. I don't know. I'm very indecisive about that right now. But great question. Am I the only one that thinks that we live in a virtual prison where we have to find a way out? I mean, it makes sense as any other hypothesis as far as the simulation goes, but I don't think we're in prison. I think it just means that we're in a computational environment, and simulation in that context means, as I always say, a slice of larger reality. But, I mean, of course it makes as much sense as anything else. I think it's just a matter of perspective. Out of curiosity, is the use of the spirit molecule 100% necessary for the experiment, or could someone with a pineal gland that isn't calcified do it too? Oh, Pixie, Pixie, Pixie. Well, first of all, thank you so much for the question. The reason I'm saying your name 3 times like that is because I just had a conversation with Andrew Gallimore, and he and he rolled his eyes so hard on these propositions because he said that most likely the pineal gland is actually not producing the spirit molecule. We know that. We have really good reasons to think that. It doesn't mean that the pineal gland is still not relevant to something substantial about the human evolution and everything that you're alluding to. But these claims about calcified pineal gland, I think, are a little bit slightly overblown. I would agree with that. But I understand your question. This is, I guess, my spectrum reacting to the specificity of your question. I understand the spirit of your question. I met 3 people that managed to see the code without the laser, without the molecule. They were all women. So I think there's a data point there. I think women are more open and more, I guess, what you would call, like sensitive to that space. I don't think they saw it as concretely. It's not as well defined as it would be if you would be on the molecule. But I can tell you it will absolutely work with mushrooms. Just you need a little bit more. You need like 3.5 grams, it's a lot, and we know it works with Aya. I had the shaman to try this with a ceremony with a bunch of people. So adjacent molecules would work. And I tried to do it with like a breath work or something. It didn't work for me. It doesn't mean it's impossible, but maybe there's some breath work expert. I would say that what you're asking is very relevant, because I think it would be very beneficial if we managed to find a way to do it without the molecule. It would open the window for a lot more people to see it. But the short answer is I met 3 women that could do it. That's all I can say with any amount of certainty. But I do think that point about the pineal gland that Gallimore brought up is important, because it might not be actually what we think it is. But that's a separate subject. That's neither here nor there. I hope I answered your question. Also, I vowed to pay attention to when I'm saying I'm going to try and say more of that. So anybody who wants to point out to me when I'm saying feel free to do so. Stewie's great. What is the laser thing? Great question. So a few years ago, I discovered that if you projected diffracted laser on a surface while ingesting a particular molecule that I cannot name here on the live chat, you can just Google the spirit molecule, you will see code running in surfaces. And yes, like in the movie, which is very strange, but it is true, and it's true across all individuals at all times. And the code doesn't really care about who you are, what you are, how you feel, what music is playing. It seems to be completely objective in there in the surface. That is what's up with the laser. Have I ever astral projected? No, I have not. I've heard a lot of people that did that. I'm very interested and fascinated by it, but I've personally never done that. Also, I don't really know what the difference would be between that and being on copious amounts of the molecule. Thank you so much, Adamender. That's all it says in the name. I appreciate your gift. Out-of-body experience, also never had it. All right. There we go. Good. How do I set up the laser? All the information is on codeofreality.com. Codeofreality.com. You have the protocol. You have some videos of mine that used to be on TikTok. You used to have a video pinned to the top. I unpinned it just to see if it messes up with the algorithm. I'll repin it on the top to see if it makes a difference. But in any case, yeah, I basically there are videos that I put out that you can find here on TikTok. The thumbnail should be just a wall filled with the matrix code and the guy kind of looking at it. It will be clear that that's the video. But also the protocol is on codeofreality.com. What's up, Casey? I'm looking through the comments. Quick rundown how you set it up. Laser level through glass of water. No, you want I said you want to have it diffracted first through a special lens, which usually comes with it if you buy the proper one. Refraction with water helps see it easier, but you don't have to use the water. But that is what's on the thumbnail. Yes. Get some question 469. Does it look different on different surfaces? No, it looks the same on different surfaces so far. Thank you so much for your highly intriguing work. Is it only with spirit molecule that you see the code? Like I just said, mushrooms and Aya we know works as well, but I can't know with certainty about other ones so far because I haven't tried it. Stencil. Have you ever drawn over it a stencil on the wall? You wouldn't be able to do it because the characters are way too small. There's way too many of them, and they're moving way too fast. You're looking at hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of characters moving really, really fast around 3 different axes, and there's there's so many of them. So I don't think you can do this. What's up, Kawadi? Just stumbled across you live. What are you doing? We're talking about the simulation hypothesis, and I'm claiming that I found proof that we live in a simulation. Here's another Okay, I'm gonna go and read some comments from YouTube. That combined with some other data points does mean that we live in a simulation, Rauf, but it does not mean that our world is fake. I want to make it perfectly clear that simulation does not mean fake. It just means computationally rendered, which is a big difference. Okay, YouTube. Let's see what we have here. By the way, just a quick reminder, thank you so much for all the likes on TikTok. You can also check out my YouTube channel, which is Dango Thoughts. And everybody on YouTube, X, and Twitch, if you're enjoying this and you feel like giving a thumbs up or a like for the lives, that definitely helps the algorithm. So I would appreciate that. Thank you so much for TikTok for that as well. Me and my have you heard of aphantasia? Yes, I have it. Which is, by the way, how I know when I see something in the molecule space when something is real, is because I know my brain cannot do that. I literally cannot imagine things vividly. So I definitely know about aphantasia. Oh, and what you're talking about, Beat is also has it. I can visualize under the influence of psychedelics, though just not sober. Same thing. That's similar to myself, apart from that I see feels totally disconnected from me. Wait, what? Oh, what you see feels completely disconnected from you. Are you sure that's a form of aphantasia as well? Also, I noticed in the drawing you made in the discovery video reminded me of something. I don't know if you ever made any correlation. I have my own theories, but it looks like what people have seen on UFO, like Rendlesham Forest incident. So I'm also referring to symbols themselves. So I don't know if this, I'm terrible with names. I'm not sure if what you're referring to is that craft that was circulating on Reddit with the guy who's claiming that these pieces are from like a drone that was found from a UFO that they were working on in the Bay Area somewhere, right? Something like that. So if that's what you're referring to, then yes, the characters look a lot like that. If you're referring to something else, I'm not sure because I don't know a lot of other cases. I think my girlfriend can see it without the dreams. Oh, without the deems, I guess. She won't really sit with it because of existential dread. Well, yeah, yes. It's not for everybody, guys. This should be obvious. The molecule is definitely not for everybody. It can be very difficult. Aaron is saying, I discovered and ordered your products right now. I think this is really interesting. Appreciate you, Aaron. Let me know if you need any more help. There's a email listed on the website on codeofreality.com. Feel free to email me. I always respond to my emails. Is there a way to keep you updated when... Oh, so that's how. Just email my email, which is lasersimulationx@gmail.com. But you have it on the website. So I always respond to my emails. JH is saying, but I turned it on for her, and she had a pretty strong reaction and said that she could see it. She won't explore further though. Yeah, that can be a lot. Never force people to do this. This is not a good idea. Making the information available does not mean that everybody should make their own choices. Is the code always the same, like in the same sequence, or does it change different times and locations? Sequence, I don't know. I think there's too much going on there to be able to decipher what sequence it's happening in. There's just too much happening. But to the naked eye, it seems like whatever's happening is the same across the board. It's just changing behavior every once in a while in a regular way. But I don't know truly because we have to test specificities. Guy at Randall Sham said the mirrored craft, which sounds like your console, but it had symbols and numbers running all over it. I see. Aaron is saying I was speaking to someone about something similar to this, but using mushrooms, a certain strain. They were seeing grids and study it. Everyone seemed to see the same thing when using the strain. Interesting. Would you talk about your experience or thoughts on the gateway process? Yes, I have done the gateway process. I find it very interesting. To anybody who doesn't know, the Monroe Institute developed a method and combined with some hemisync tapes that since then became part of a conspiracy theory that the CIA was keeping this technique secret, which they never did. The documents that people are talking about that were released that supposedly were secret, the only secret there maybe, I'm not even sure about that, but was that the CIA didn't maybe want anybody to know that they're trying this. Maybe that was the secret. But if you're not aware, the method itself was never a secret. So that conspiracy theory is false, absolutely. It was always available, always. The Monroe Institute always had it open source. I tried it, and I found very interesting things happening, so I can attest that it definitely does something. For example, I started noticing that I can physically feel my fiance's things. So like she got a headache, and all of a sudden I could feel this crazy headache, and I knew it wasn't mine. So things like that. So I can say that it definitely does something for sure. Can I photograph the codes? I mean, you would have to have the camera. I mean, it's just light. There's nothing special that is happening with the laser or the light. What's special is what happens to your brain. So whatever it is that you're going to photograph, it's going to have the same thing, just like if you are in a particular state. What makes you able to see it is the fact that you're in a state, not the special. There's nothing special about the laser. Can this code you see? Can you photograph it? That was the question. Oh, you asked it twice. Okay. Do you have a Telegram group? We do, but we're not. This was like a small group in the beginning. We're not really. That group is kind of, we're not adding any more members there. We don't see a reason to it because it kind of became. There's not a lot happening there either way. But we do have a Discord. If you want the link to the Discord, there's still not a lot of people there, so it's very quaint and cozy. So if you want the link to the Discord, please send me an email and I'll send you the link. The email is lasersimulationx@gmail.com, or you can visit the website that is listed right on the main video right here. Oh, it's it's the other way around. Interesting. It's mirrored. So if you go to the website, my email is listed there as well. And I'll definitely send you a link to the Discord. Comment from X. Very exciting. Challenge reality. How are you? I'm always excited about comments from X and from Twitch because I don't get a lot of them. Randall Sham occurring the 80s at the U.S. military outpost based in the U.K. Got it. So it's something else. The codes you see while on it, can it be photographed? Okay, you already asked this, Enzo. I think I answered, right? I am very interested in conducting this experiment. Can it be done sober, or do we need to be under the influence of the molecules? Unfortunately, at the moment, as far as I know, you do have to be on the molecule or on mushrooms or on Aya. But maybe there's a way. I'm not ruling it out. Like I said, I met 3 women that could see it without. But I think you're either open or you're not, or if you're not, you have to develop certain abilities. Actually, maybe the Monroe Institute's techniques, the gateway, might actually be helpful there. At the moment, as far as I know, you have to be on the molecule. Opinion on Monroe Institute and Thomas Campbell. Both great, I think. Somebody actually sent my stuff to Thomas Campbell. We'll see what comes out of it. Mark Thompson is saying, read a sham forest incident years ago in the UK. Officers seen a craft land, got close, covered in symbols. There's photos out there of the symbols he saw in it. Interesting. Thank you for filling me in. No WhatsApp group, but there's definitely a Discord group. He was given compensation years later for radiation exposure as they wouldn't release his medical. I see. And Ribdomac is saying, I will never be able to read it properly. It's Rendlesham? Writings are faked. Look into it. Okay. Aaron I cannot name these molecules, Aaron, on the live because of TikTok. TikTok is weird. But the other spirit molecule, I don't know how else to call it, have been introduced to this yet. I've never tried it with it. I mean, I've done it, but not with the laser. It's hard for me to imagine how somebody would stay upright looking at the laser. But maybe it's possible. People that are experienced, they can probably do a little bit and see if they can see it. I haven't. Change the scene? Maybe. We'll see. But I haven't tried it. I would like to join. I will send you an email. Yes, no problem. Please send me an email and I'll make sure to send you a link. Whenever there is a substance involved, it's not the naked reality. Even out of body, you need to get beyond the astral plane. Even every higher dimensions has distortions. It sounds like the natural fallacy taken to an extreme. You wouldn't agree, Daniel? So the idea that everything that the way we are naturally, whatever that means, is somehow better than anything that we utilize from the environment. It's called the naturalistic fallacy. There's a reason why there's a term for that. Is because it is very easily demonstrably false. So most things in nature will kill you. The fact that something is coming from what you call nature does not for a second makes it good for you. And the only thing that actually makes the distinction between what is good for us and what is bad for us is the actual influence of that thing on us in any particular time. Humans rely, just like animals rely on different specialized senses and organs to win the evolutionary game. Humans rely on what we call knowledge, is looking at the world, understanding it, and then trying putting things together and understanding what works, what doesn't work. Humans can make things, certain things, better than what you would call nature can. Now, it doesn't mean that they always do that. Obviously, there's always a period in which the version that humans makes is very shitty. But then eventually, it becomes better. The deeper point is that that's still nature. So this is why the naturalistic fallacy is extra double trouble. Extra double trouble is I don't know, it's a double. But that's why it's double trouble, is because it also confuses us to believe that somehow we are outside of nature. What you are, what I am, whatever this is, the computers, the plastic, pollution, all of that, that's nature. That's natural. The idea that it isn't is somehow ironically places humans in some kind of a special pedestal place where we're special. We're not. It's just what nature does. So the distinction doesn't actually matter. What does matter is whether or not these, how you view these things and what they really are. So I would claim that the spirit molecule is not a substance, or like, I don't want to say the word because TikTok kind of flags all these things. It's not a DRAG. Did I just spell drag? Yes, I did. It's not. It's not, that's amazing. My dyslexia crossed into spelling. DRUG. It's it's a tool. Now, forget about the fact that your brain, well, the brain we don't know exactly, but we know your lungs make it, synthesize it, and we know the liver, I think, synthesizes it. So your body makes it. It's definitely natural. But even if your body wouldn't, it still wouldn't matter. There are certain things that humans could make, and they would make you perceive certain things that you couldn't otherwise. Wouldn't make it dirty, or like it would still be part of what's unfolding, right, in existence. And the reason I'm going on this very long tangent is because what you mentioned here, this is what I meant by it sounds like the naturalistic fallacy taken to the extreme, is because you're involving here astral planes, and then you're saying that you need to get beyond astral planes, even every higher dimension has distortions. Distortions from what? From the ultimate truth? Everything that exists is a distortion from the ultimate truth. The ultimate truth is very naked. It's just whatever it is, right? It's just like this purity of some sort. So all of it is distortion. Reality is a distortion. But it doesn't make it, it's not distortion in the sense of like it needs to be fixed. Because if you fix that distortion, nothing exists. You see what I'm saying? So it's the word distortion here is a little bit misleading as well. My simple point is that I don't think it's useful to think of these things as unnatural, and then whatever is already happening in our body, the way we are physically, is somehow natural. Because everything you have in your body at some point was not part of your body. The all the organisms that decided to collaborate and work together to make this once weren't together, and they weren't natural to one another, and they just found a way to cooperate, which is essentially what I think is always happening in existence at large. So if you can photograph it, it's not real for the rest of us, meaning for you, not for us, same as a dream. I would disagree with that. Would you say that before we could look at distant galaxies because we didn't have the tools, these galaxies didn't exist? Because it sounds like what you're saying. What if you took a picture and then looked at the picture while on the molecule? The great question. You then see the code. Need to scan those women's brains to see if they are different to others. Challenge reality from X. Hello from Iceland. Oh, I'm so excited. I love Iceland. I mean, I've never been there, but I love everything that I've ever heard about the country and seen about the country, and I really want to go visit. How can you create the laser at home, Leon? You just go to codeofreality.com. We have a page there about the laser. Look at the specs. You can either click the links from there directly and go to Amazon and purchase what you need, or buy one that we make, or just take the specs, copy them, and then go source anywhere you want. Doesn't really matter as long as the specs are the same. So make sure that it's never above 5 milliwatts because it protects your eyes. Make sure that it's diffracted. It comes with a lens. If you want to buy it from Alibaba or some local store you have, by all means, just make sure that the specs match and you should be good to go. You also have the protocol on the website. So codeofreality.com. That is okay. I can try both sober and not sober. Please could you direct me on where I can go to learn the process? Again, you have the website right there, codeofreality.com. And if you have any other extra questions, you can always email me. The email is also listed on the website. Pardon my ignorance, but I was discussing your experiment with a friend last night, and just today I stumbled across you live, so I have not yet had the chance to research. If it's on your website, let me know, and I'll go and read it into it. Oh, yeah, so it's on the website, absolutely. You got it, Aaron. Have we tried this in Infinity Mirror? No, but that would be dope. Just be careful with mirrors. I mean, it's lasers and mirrors, you know. It's can be not a great combination. So be careful, please. Were there any commonalities with the women that you could see the code without the molecule? Extremely empathetic, slightly autistic history with psychedelics. Hard to say. The only thing I can really point to is that they were very kind of like spiritually open, I guess. That's the only common denominator that I could see. Have you heard about Christian Kohlert? Matrix Hypothesis. You can find his research on YouTube as well. Most of his interviews are in German, but you can put CC to trans. Question for you, Natalie. Thank you so much. I always love when people share extra things with me. Quick question for you. What would be the difference? Why would Christians stand out from any other person talking about the simulation hypothesis? If you can just specify that, that's important to me. Because there's infinite people that you can technically check out. I would love to know why you think he stands out. Because the simulation hypothesis is pretty straightforward. The idea is out there. There's not really anything new under the sun, usually. I guess what I'm proposing is an experimental way of probing it, which is different. I'm not proposing a philosophical hypothesis. I'm saying here's a way to actually test this to some degree. But I love to know about people in this space, and I would love to know why you think he stands out. What is different about his argument versus Nick Bostrom's argument, let's say? I would say let's start there. If you say we live in a simulation and the molecule is natural, that doesn't make sense. Why doesn't it make sense? Unless if I understand the direction you're trying to go, which is that you think that simulation necessarily means manufactured. But the deeper point I'm making is the word natural encompasses everything that exists. So anything that would happen, any kind of technology, any kind of advanced civilization, all of it is natural, is what I'm saying. Thank you, Kyla. I hope you're well as well. I think the biggest distortions are here on the Earth realm. I don't know if that's true. I know it's a very common thing to say. I happen to think that people are awesome, and what we have here is an incredible case of an enormous, beautiful opportunity to make the most beautiful place possible. And I think we're very much along our way to do it. A lot of people disagree. That's how I see it. I think people are awesome overall, and I think we're doing beautiful things. We have a lot of power, and sometimes we abuse it, and sometimes we got to get our act together, and I believe we're doing that. Again, I know some people disagree, and they think we're some kind of a disease, and we're confused and all of that, but I would say we're not much more confused than anything else in existence, and we're doing our best. I think humans are amazing. That's what I think. Up to this point, what does the code prove for you? Well, the code by itself doesn't necessarily speak the most volumes. For me, I have a lot of different experiences on the molecule, including a computer console that I see on a regular basis. I have direct communication with what you would call the simulators. I'm not really talking about it too much because I don't expect anyone to accept any validity from what I'm personally seeing and interacting with. And this is why it's not a big thing that I'm resting on. The code I can show you, you can see it for yourself. And when you see the code, I think you won't need to ask me that question because the code will tell you what it actually is. We smoked the molecule and used what? CBCT scanner that is a crossbar laser. Long story short, codes. Yep. Thank you for sharing. And everyone that sees the purple chick, she always visits me. I smoke. Nice. The thought of us potentially being AI makes me feel uneasy. What about you? No, it doesn't. But I understand if it would. Kind of discovering you not what you thought you were. I can totally get it. It doesn't make me feel uneasy. I think I feel comfortable with whatever it actually is. I mean, it is what it is, right? Why do anything that would be... Wait. Why do anything that would be cool? Why if... I don't understand. Sorry. Have you tried writing down what you've seen? Yes, but it's not plausible. There's too much going on at every single moment there. If you think about my thing... Wait. If you think about why things exist versus non-existence, I think the end conclusion is that all is a single material, and a reality with separation and multi-materials can only be a dream of sim. I know. I think all of these choices are very arbitrary. Including, by the way, existence versus non-existence. Some people say, it's implausible that everything just came out of nothing. It's much more likely that everything just existed. and vice versa. Sometimes other people would say the opposite. And I'm like, no, they both have the same validity, which is, it's just none of them make sense. And yet somehow it exists, right? I always say the universe is an impossible object that exists. It either came from nothing, which doesn't make any sense, or it always existed, which doesn't make any sense. And yet, that's the case. But logically, they both have the exact same validity. We don't need any smoke, anything to see galaxies far away. You're absolutely right. That's a great point. However, the proposition here is that you're at the moment dialed into a particular channel of the way that your brain perceives the channel of information that delivers the most optimal frame of your reward functions. To put it in a less loaded language, you became aware and your brain dialed into the exact perfect optimal place where the things you actually need to survive physically are the things that you are most dialed into. So distances, colors, tastes, spatial awareness, all of these things that have to do with surviving in three-dimensional space as a physical body is what your brain dialed itself into, including conceptual frameworks. So for example, the fact that we think of physical attributes of things like spin, momentum, location as the fundamental thing are simply a quirk of the way that our brain is wired. You could assume a much different fundamental frame, for example, idealism, in which consciousness is considered to be the fundamental thing and everything else is arising from it. From that frame, the distant galaxies and everything you see, they are extrapolations that your brain is making. They're interpretations, they're models, they're actually simulations of what your brain thinks it's the closest thing to. But when it interacts with more information, it modifies these models and it can potentially start seeing them as something else or more robust versions of whatever that is. All of that being said, possible, and this is also the proposition, that there's a maybe infinite informational space, but in the bubble that you exist, your reward functions, they're here. So maybe there's other reward functions that go way beyond you, but at the moment you're not really interacting with them as a physical body, and they're not relevant to your evolution as a physical system. But the physicality of it by itself might just be one of the frames. I know it's a little bit hard to fully, kind of download into your brain, but maybe you understand what I'm saying, that maybe there's other elements of possible experiences that would not fall under the definition of what you would call physical, but they're real. They're real. Like they exist even when you don't look, so to speak. It's just that they're not that relevant for your immediate survival as a physical body, and if your entire focus is on the physical, then you would find them not important, and then every time somebody would bring them up as important, you'll say, well, that's not fundamental. That's just like your imagination or whatever you want to do with it. Maybe, but what I'm saying is that here you have one example where all of a sudden you have some kind of content that you can't touch with your hands, but the content seems to do everything else aside from the touch the same as what physical objects do. Now it kind of questions you have to start questioning your ontology, whether what you took into account as the pool of all this, the set of all things you should take into account, is it really the full set of what you should take into account? Or is there more now that might be relevant? I know these concepts might be a little bit explosive and sounds like somebody's trying to rationalize something that might not be relevant, and it sounds like purely philosophical. I guess time will tell. We'll find out. My contention and what I'm putting forth is that in our lifetime, we will figure out if, for example, what I'm claiming to have discovered would have any relevance to what we do in physics. So if I can, in 10 years from now, build something that was unthinkable without seeing the code and its content, I would say that then that's at least one chess pawn forward from the side that claims that the physicality of things is not all there is. I hope this made some sense. And I appreciate you as well, JB's cars. And Enzo Carini. Yes. Oh. Well, I guess we can leave it up there. It was by mistake, but hold on. Let me go back for a second because I had some people asking questions here. And I want to make sure I address them. Wow, how far back did I put it? Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second. Ooh, it's 3. Okay. Let me do this. Boom. Boom. Okay. Okay, a couple more questions from TikTok, and then I'll go back to YouTube. I know it was a long tangent. Also, just gonna remind everybody, if you wanna give the live some likes, definitely helps the algorithm. I appreciate you guys. Across all platforms, TikTok and YouTube and X and Twitch. Thank you, TikTok. Can you see? Can you? Okay, we saw that. He was given compensation. Oh, whoa, we went way back. Okay, let me go down. Oh, I think I got to the point that we were. Okay, here we go. Yes, you got it, Enzo. I'm extremely interested in hearing about the simulation and console. Well, so far the videos that I put out, they're really the best, my best foot forward with that. And I'm working on a new video about the console with a VR expert, and we're gonna have a much more advanced graphics that show the console. So something that is worth tuning into. Doesn't make what you experience any less real or meaningful. I get the uneasy feeling, but it's a beautiful experience. I agree with that. Console, yeah, the console, a lot of people are asking more. 20 plus years in virtual environment design can share instruments to peer through the implanted realities. I appreciate you, Fernando. Feel free to email me. I'm always down to have a nice chat. blazersimulationx@gmail.com. Have extreme discernment between what is digital, AI, synthetic, binary, limited bandwidth, and what is analog, organic, infinite bandwidth. All right. I see many stars every night, some blue, some purple, some green. I know for a fact that filters are real. Trust me, you can channel it out in Hawaii. All right. Thank you for your answer and explanation. I got you, Enzo, and thank you for listening. We need higher quality camera and audio, and you need to make this in a podcast format and have it available everywhere. What are you specifically talking about, Kevin? You just found this channel, yes? You're not the first person to discover this. Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not married. I mean, as far as I know, I am, but I'm not really married to it. It's not the thing that is that important to me. All that's important to me is that so far I haven't seen anyone talking about this in any really coherent manner or putting it out there in a way that is out of conviction. Everything I heard so far is pretty flimsy. By the way, the CBCT scanner is a dental or maxillary scanner for 3D radiographs. So for our medical team to smoke the molecule and see codes together. Wait. The CBCT scanner is a dental or maxillary scanner for 3D radiographs. So for our medical team to smoke the molecule and see the codes together. Wow. Okay, that sounds amazing. The X-ray has a perfect crossbar lasers, and we used it to test your theory. Wow. Okay, I would love if you can send me some images or anything from that. Like again, you don't have to put anybody's faces or anything like that, but that would be amazing to get that report. That would be incredible. Thank you. Also, isn't it a really powerful laser? You gotta be very careful because it does bounce back into your cornea. We can all help it gain a lot of momentum release. Yeah, man, we're working on a documentary. Oh, that is a good mention. We are working on a documentary, as most of you know, because you saw that part of the trailer at least. On TikTok in my link tree, you have the GoFundMe link, and all the information is also in the trailer on YouTube. If you have the possibility, any donation is great because we're working on it basically whenever we have free time. Me and Aaron. But the more budget we get, the easier it is for us to work on it more full time. So any donation would be super welcome. But fear not, even if whatever happens, we will still make the film. It would just take us a little longer, and it will be amazing to see if people support. I just found this channel 1 minute ago and still have no idea what this is about. Did you just tell me that I wasn't the first one that discovered it? So if you don't know what it's about, what are you talking about? So what you can do, RNBWB, it's just so funny. You can watch the trailer, which is the last video on my YouTube channel. And you can also watch, if you search on my channel, the name of the spirit molecule. I cannot name it because I'm also live on TikTok. You will see what I'm talking about. But in general, I'm claiming to have found proof that we actually live in a simulation. That's the general gist of this conversation. The cool thing is that the molecule laser trick is a little proof of the meta, but still would be dismissed because of the consumption. Sure, and that's fine. I'm a big believer in what Terence McKenna used to say, which is if it's real, it can take the pressure. And because I know it's real, it's fine. It's just a matter of time before we figure out how to talk about it in a more coherent way. Who else is talking about the codes? Not sure. I have not spoken to Thomas Campbell directly, no, but a friend of mine knows him and he passed on my information. I have multiple years of experience seeing this hidden world and thinking about this topic. Amazing. Feel free to email me with any information that you have and any conversation you would like to have. lasersimulationx@gmail.com. I have worked in DARPA, SSP implanted realities tech. Would love to do a podcast with you, experience in quantum access fields, teleportation, interfaces, and phase conjugate. Again, Fernando, very open. So just email me, lasersimulationx@gmail.com. I respond to all my emails. We can have a nice chat and we'll see where it goes. Thank you for reaching out. Ancient religion, ancient Mayan. Okay. Well, I appreciate that you watched the trailer. We have abundance of trees that produce the molecule on our islands. Right in our backyard, Terence's house is on the big island. To rip is amazing. So, oh, you're from Hawaii. So here's the deal. I was actually on the big island. You might be able to help me with this. I was on the big island last year, and I was trying to find botanical dimensions. Terence's garden house. Couldn't do it. Nobody knew where it was. And because I'm also writing a movie about Terence. I'm writing a feature film about Terence McKenna because I think he needs to be more known that he is. And I was trying to get there and get some inspiration, kind of walk around. If you know where that is, and you know some people that can, potentially let me in and just walk around, that would be incredibly valuable. Please email me if you have any information on this. It's lasersimulationx@gmail.com. Please email me with any information about this. This would be amazing. Okay, I have ignored TikTok for a long time. Apologies. So I'm going to do some of these and then I will have to get some rest. Most of those things can be found in Australia, like Django Spy. Someone with photographic memory. Yeah, it's a good idea. Looks 2.0. The only issue is that these people unfortunately don't really exist. There's maybe 5 people like that on the planet. One of them is that savant that they flew over Rome. Hey, baby. And then he recreated the whole. Thank you, Darla. Recreated the whole, the Colosseum and everything in Rome. But I think it's him and like 4 other people, not even, that actually have this kind of memory. Unfortunately. When I was going to pyramid, so Egyptian. And also, you can't really rely on one person. You have to. Will you show us a picture? Well, I'm working with a VR expert to reproduce something similar. Picture, I don't think would do. Dan Taylor is asking if you can do it with any kind of laser. No, it will not work with a laser pointer. It has to be diffracted, which is an interesting data point. But luckily, these diffracted lasers are sold on Amazon very cheap. You can get them, I think for like $13 or something. You gotta connect them into like a switch and stuff, but they're like super simple. Laser pointer will not work. So if you go to codeofreality.com, we have a list there. Again, don't have to get it from there. Just make sure that the specs that you get anywhere are the same. As long as the specs are the same, it should work. How did I figure this out? It's a long story that took years. This is one of the reasons we did the documentary, to talk about that. The documentary is not going to be only about that, but it's one of the big things in the documentary. Dennis, when will you show us a picture of what you see? Same answer. Working on it. Head food things. That would delay it. Okay. Your intent moves the codes. The end. It does not. The end. We also reinforce our reality depending on where we put our attention. Hold on. One second. Okay. I think I will. Okay. So, because I have a flight in an hour, I will. And that was my fiance, and she's right. We do have to get some sleep, maybe 30 minutes. So. And what are you talking about? Is saying that the whole laser kit costs like 15 pounds, very cheap. Yes. So I know you can source it for very cheap. This is why we put the list there, so people can do it if they want. Some people insist that we make them and ship them. We at this point we kind of innovated, so we do have pretty cool, like very portable, easy to use lasers that we just make. But yes, they're like a lot more expensive. There's no question about that, because it's actually, we don't have a factory, right? So it's very time consuming. So yeah, that's why it's going to be more expensive. If you still insist and it also supports the project, we welcome it, of course, but we're definitely not trying to break anybody's pocket. The point isn't to just get people's money or something like that. So if money is the thing, absolutely you can find these lasers or lasers like that that are very cheap. Alibaba, Amazon, anywhere you want. So feel free to get them anywhere you want. And even if you don't get them from us, feel free to email me. I'll help you figure out what exactly you need. Yeah, it's about the mission, not so much about the, let's say selling the lasers and things like that. So that's it. So I think, yeah, I'll have to adjourn. Again, follow me across all platforms. We're here every day. TikTok is Danny Goller. Instagram, same, Danny Goller. X is Goller Danny. Twitch is LaserX83. And YouTube is Dango Thoughts. DANGO Thoughts. I'm here every single day. We discuss this. And I've also just started a membership plan on YouTube that's going to include more personal interaction with me, personal lives for a much smaller group of people, so I can address people more directly, as well as a personal Zoom calls with me once or twice a month. And I'm thinking of other ways to sweeten the deal that will give people value. Probably maybe even special content that does not exist on a regular channel, more stuff about for my personal life. And all of this will, of course, allow me to focus on this more full time. And I think that's all the promotional stuff that I need to do. So beyond that, thank you so much, everybody, for joining. I deeply appreciate you across all platforms, TikTok and YouTube and X and Twitch. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for being so respectful and loving. I love this community. Peace and love, everybody. See you tomorrow. Ciao. See you, everybody. See you tomorrow.